Welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportist, an occasionally smart, always irreverent look at sports in St. Louis and beyond. And now, your St. Louis Sportist.
Hello and welcome to the podcast from the St. Louis Sportists. My name is Ron Cook, and I am joined by Joe Sperlin.
Hey, glad to be back. Good to see you guys in the AVA version.
I saw photographic evidence of you standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona.
I was taking it easy. Such a fine sight to see.
It was really cool, by the way, that building that had the lyrics like all the way around the top of the building.
Yeah.
So, and also joined by Doug Lansdowne.
Yep, glad to be back after being away last week. And we got our three Ava boys.
It's AVA. Tom Mathis is out tonight due to load management, which, it's just a smart thing to do in the middle of the summer. Keith Farrell is on assignment. And in this edition, are the Cardinals recreating the post-All-Star swoon that took them out of playoff contention last year? We're less than 2 weeks from the trade deadline. Who stays and who goes? The SEC is back, and so is Eli Drinkwitz, and he's got jokes.
Funny guy.
The Open Championship is steeped in controversy, and the winner is who? And we'll put a bow on the Americanized Supersize 2026 World Cup. The St. Louis Sportists are brought to you by First Coast Steel Buildings. Jason and his team will take your project from design to completion with a family-first approach. Learn more at stcoaststeel.com, and we'll hear more from them and Sandra Templeoff later in the show. And tonight's last call is brought to you by Black Dog Consulting, LLC, here to help the one-truck owner and the small fleet owner to grow and prosper. You can contact Dave at 417-217-9622. Black Dog Consulting, helping you retrieve bigger profits. We're on the socials. Please like us. Please follow us. We appreciate each and every one of you for listening to this or watching this, as some of you might be doing. It's time for Quick Hits, Joe Sperlin. What do you have?
I got to take a time here for a rookie from the A's. I almost said Oakland A's, just the A's, the Athletics. And I hope I don't mess up his name. Joshua Corda Grabner hit his first home run in the second inning the other night against Arizona. He went 2 for 3 with that home run and RBI. But in the fifth inning, he took a foul ball to the groin. And as I saw the live video of it, of course, they said it hit him in the upper leg, and then they slowed it down, and the guy says, that's not the upper leg. Well, he ended up rupturing a testicle, and they had to remove him from the game. So he is currently on the 10-day IL with a ruptured testicle. Ouch.
But when you said that description, Joe, when you said that description, I always think back to Mike Shannon referring to it as the groinal region at one point.
Yeah. Ron, I think about the hockey goalie during warmups that took one. I think we were at that game, weren't we? Or the game?
We were at that game.
We were at that game. I thought we were, yeah. But I'll tell you what, it also reminds me several years ago when I was coaching high school football, I come in on a Tuesday morning and the coach told me, he said, hey, did you hear about this young man? He had to go in last night for emergency surgery. And I said, what happened? He goes, well, he started having stomach pains in his lower area and all this stuff. And they went in and checked him out. They took him in the emergency room and they had to do emergency surgery on him because he had a twisted testicle. And I said, from football practice? And they said, no, don't think so. So he had emergency surgery on Tuesday morning, got out Tuesday night, and they said, can he play? Now, this is his parents, the kid. Can he play on Friday? And they said, if he can stand the pain, yes. He did walkthroughs on Thursday and played on Friday. And I told him to this day, I would never forget that. And I said, every time a kid tells me he can't play, I would say, my God, I had a kid get surgery on his twisted testicle on Tuesday morning, and he played on Friday. So one of the crazier things in high schools, I felt horrible thinking, is this kid really going to play? It was not my decision, but the doctors were like, yeah, he can play if he can stand the pain of it. There's nothing wrong with him. Is that the
Sure.
twisted testicle? And how that happened, they said that just happens. And I go, what do you mean that just happens? But anyway, ouch.
Huh.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can say after that. Ew.
Do I
I was
have
gonna
to
say,
follow? I have to follow that.
you have to follow that. Yes, Doug, you do. What do you have for a quick
Well,
hit?
we were talking about coaches at SEC Media Days, and Eli had some drinks and stuff. But did you hear Caleb DeBoer talking about his offensive line? He said he figured out that he had to find some guys that could impose their will on people and get back to running the ball and stuff. And so his center came out of the transfer portal. You know where that young man's from? Cal Poly.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder how many of those offensive linemen Nick Saban ever got that were from Cal Poly, then imposed their will on people.
Joe, I bet he could factor a binomial.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So he either
imposed it all up, on him.
I mean, we either really, really, really find diamonds in the rough now because of the transfer portal, or DeBoer is really desperate, one of the two.
Our buddy Khaled Abdallah has that 40-40 podcast, which is a brilliant concept. He kind of like will, take a year and do a redraft. And imagine if Alabama or, Florida at the time or whoever said, hey, there's this wide receiver at Mississippi Valley State we really think could help us out.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of amazing to think if the portal existed, some of those guys may not have been drafted where they were.
Yep.
So for me, I'm going to a place that normally our friend Keith Farrell would go to, and that's the WNBA. Sophie, our buddy Sophie, is 6th in the league in 3-point shooting right now, and the WNBA 3-point shooting contest has 6 contestants. So she's 6th in the league. There's 6 contestants. She's going, right? No, she's not. The NBA did not invite Sophie Cunningham to the 3-point shooting contest. In other news, the WNBA Players Association is prohibiting WNBA partners from using Sophie's famous point or any pictures thereof, saying that it resulted from a derogatory incident. And the league, by rules, prohibit use of any imagery from something derogatory in the WNBA. Sophie can use it herself, but the WNBA partners cannot. So the WNBA is unfortunately becoming increasingly polarized and polarizing. And Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, had a quote that I just I had to read it twice to make sure it was from him. And he was talking about Caitlin Clark and said, and again, like I said, I read this twice. I've come to know Caitlin really well. She's an incredible player and also an incredible person, and she wants to focus on being the best player she can. And she's become a bit of a political football in this country, and I think it's incredibly unfair to her. And so it's like the whole league is kind of almost dividing down political lines now, which is just I don't remember this in really any other sport.
The WNBA is obviously not wanting to promote their 2 most popular players for some reason.
Makes perfect sense.
For some reason. Hey, that means Sophie says, am I cleared to get all those shirts made and make all that money off that pointing stuff?
Yep.
I can make all that money? Okay, good. I'll do it.
But one thing that unites the city of St. Louis is our love of the St. Louis baseball Cardinals, who are 52-49. In their last 10, 4-6, third place right now, 11.5 behind Milwaukee. They're 5.5 behind the Cubs last week, 3.5, and now they're a half game behind Arizona for the final wild card spot. Doug, the play lately since the All-Star break, it's been kind of brutal. Is this almost like what we probably thought we'd see during the like before the season started?
I think it is. Like you said, the last 10 games, 4-6. So next 10 games, they're probably going to go 6-4. I still think everything's a bonus from here on out. I still don't want them to trade anybody. Maybe Newt. I just would like to see these guys perform under pressure, the rest of the season and see how it plays out. And I think most people's expectations are they're not going to make the playoffs. So I just want to see how they play and perform.
Yeah, the loss Sunday in Arizona, they had a 7-run lead, blew that. The last time they blew a 7-run lead was 16 years ago. So not something that happens all the time. And of course, Joe Sperlin, Nolan Arenado hit a home run. It's like as part of the key comeback.
Yeah.
You knew that was going to happen at some point this year.
Of course. Yeah.
So they can't score runs lately, Doug. They win today 1-0. They've scored like 2 runs the game before that, 2 runs the game before that. The offense is disappearing.
Walker slowed down a little bit. He won the home run derby, I realized, but he was slowing down on an everyday basis before then. So, the better teams figure out how to pitch to Burley and Herrera, and Weatherholt continues probably to be their best player. And I think Mason Wynn is what Mason Wynn is right now. I think he's always going to be that type of player. But like I said before, I don't want to see him traded because I don't think you trade away a Gold Glove shortstop.
Yeah, but he's probably not a 5 or 6 hitter.
He is not a 5 or 6 hitter. No. Neither is Jose Fermin, but he's the best 5 or 6 hitter we've got.
Well, you were talking about that last week, Ron, when I was listening to it. The young Ozzie Smith couldn't hit either.
Right.
So, I mean,
there was the famous bet, Ozzie, there, if you're watching on YouTube. Remember the famous bet, Doug? Every time he hit the ball in the air, he gave Whitey $1, and every time he hit it on the ground, he got $1, and they were so that was just to kind of get Ozzie to hit the ball on the ground. One person that we've kind of misjudged a little bit, or at least I did at one point, Doug, remember we were ready to put Kyle Leahy in the bullpen. His last 6 starts, he has a 1.44 ERA. So he's suddenly, if not your best pitcher, it's either him or McGreevy that are like right there.
He finally figured out how to get through the lineup the third time around. That was always for the first 2.5 months, first 2 times in the lineup, he's good. And then they were hitting it off of a tee after that. But he's figured out how to get through that lineup and stuff. And oh my gosh, last night, I'd rather be hitting the head with a hammer. They have to watch that again. So, oh God, when he's bad, he's bad.
We're speaking of Matthew Liberatore, by the way. That was Liberatore giving 5 runs in the first inning. He didn't give up anything after that, but as our friend Toby Salee liked to say, the damage had been done. So we're going to go through a little exercise here. We are now inside of 2 weeks to the trade deadline, and each of us are going to give a stay or a go to a few Cardinals here. We'll start with Dustin May, and Tom and I were talking, has he damaged himself to where no one would really want him? So Joe, what do you think?
Well, as I looked on ESPN, and I don't know if this guy still works for ESPN or not, so he may have just, I don't know when he wrote this. Your guy, Jeff Passan.
Jeff Passan, you bet.
Yeah. He had May listed as 45th. I thought, the Cardinals were going to be potential players and all this stuff. But I think if someone offers, if not, I think you're right what you and Tom said last week. His stock has went way down.
Yeah.
So unless it's a big package deal, I don't see him going anywhere.
I think he stays. Doug?
I think he stays, and I want him to stay, and I'll tell you why. I go back to a few years ago when we traded players, and we were going to get, and I realized it was Mo doing it, but we were going to get some guys to replenish the system, and it was Sajisi, and it was Roby, and it was Roberson, and we didn't get anything out of that. So I don't think you trade him for some guy in single A that has 19 home runs and 140 strikeouts. So, I think you just keep him. You let him pitch. Like I said, see how he pitches the rest of the year. And if you want to offer something up, you can. I just don't see trading him gets you any piece of the puzzle going forward that helps.
No. And by the way, one of those guys you were talking about from that flurry of trades is out of baseball already.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
Different
there's building for the
regime.
future. Yeah.
Right. Different regime. They have a better eye for talent, maybe, but I just don't see what he gets you. I just want him to pitch.
Yeah. You kind of hope that guy's like a financial advisor or something now, like I read that a couple of the other people have done. So here's the most polarizing one, Joe. Your buddy Newt.
Well, he had they had him listed as 42. I thought he was higher up there too. So there wasn't very many Cardinals up there. I think he's a guy that everybody thinks is going to go, and if you can get a halfway decent starting pitcher, but wherever he goes, I'll say this: future All-Star Lars, he just got to play every day.
There you go, Doug.
Yeah, I think he goes, and he's the one guy I hope goes. Not that I don't like him, but I really thought when he came back he would give a little more than what he's given. So I don't understand why he's not gone and Baez isn't playing an outfield spot.
I think he goes, and I think that they've said that if you're actually building for the future, Joe, like a draft, you get the best athlete available,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
But if you're going for need right now, you're looking for third base or relief pitching, and you could probably at least get something in those two areas for him. Riley O'Brien, Doug, what do you think about our all-star closer?
I think you ride him like a rented mule the rest of the year. Every time there's a chance to get a save, you trot him out there. So
I'm still in agree what you guys talked about last week. I don't think I would make hardly any trades except maybe trade one of these 5 or 6 catchers they have to get a pitcher. But other than that, let these guys play. Put him out there. See what he's worth. You're talking about Walker getting the extension. Well, what about these guys? Is he a player or not? Let's find out. This is the year to find out. So,
yeah. Well, and it's funny. You led right into the next one. You said a catcher, Pedro Pajes.
hey, how about trading the catcher who can't throw anybody out? That's like having a wide receiver that says, hey, he's a good blocker and everything, but he can't catch the ball.
Well, he's
I
an
don't care how
all-star
good of a
designated
DH he is.
hitter.
If he can't throw people out and you're a catcher, I don't think you can have a full-time DH guy that's not 35 years old or looks like a softball player.
Doug, I've actually heard some rumblings that some people are saying, hey, we've got all these catchers. Why not? His value is never going to be higher.
So when I first heard that, I was like, what? And then the more I thought about it, I understand. And he's probably the one that gets you the most back. And, we talked at nauseum and length last year about all the catching depth. Well, we still have all that catching depth. We've already got the glue guy. So,
Oh, yeah.
I think the glue guy is your backup catcher and hits 149 and starts about 35 games. And, it's okay to see what that younger guy gets you. Herrera probably gets you more than anything else. So
Yeah.
I would be okay with that now. But it probably does make the most sense.
Now, Jojo Romero, of course, had an appendectomy at the worst possible time, making his trade value practically nothing. So, Doug, I'm going to give you one of three here. Jojo, Velasquez, Gorman. Let's make it 4, or a wild card. Who else goes?
Well, you won't get anything for Velasquez. I still think it's JoJo. I think he gets healthy enough, makes an appearance or two, and somebody's always desperate for a left-handed reliever.
Yeah. Could you
I
give
could see
Gorman
that.
away?
I don't know that you'd get it would Joe. I think it'd be your old famous future considerations.
Yeah. Hey, you throw him in. By the way, if you want this guy, you have to take him too. I mean, seriously. Hey, this deal, and you got to take this guy too. He needs a fresh start.
A change of scenery.
Yeah, change of scenery.
It would be like when ABC said, if you want to buy commercials on Roseanne, you've also got to buy them on these really terrible shows, too. Oh, yeah, you've got to take Nolan Gorman.
Yeah.
So around the league, the Red Sox have won 15 in a row, Doug. How did that happen?
It's the spirit of Wilson Contreras.
Yep.
He lit a fire under those guys. Actually, I think they're really pretty damn good. They've just played poorly until the last month or so.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. They had several players on that list of trading, include he was one of them. The closer was one of them, which, by the way, I had to look it up and say, is that the same Chapman? And it was, because I was like, that looks like him. I was proud of myself. I watched the entire All-Star game.
Ooh.
Well, it's funny, whenever they gave the pinch hit opportunity to Jordan Walker, and I just looked up and I saw Aroldis Chapman pitching. I said to Jamie, he's going to strike out. Don't worry.
Hey, the batters went up there like they were ready to get out of Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yeah. And the pitchers were like, here it comes right down the pipe. Let's get out of here.
Yep.
Yeah.
The first inning couldn't have gone better for them, and they're like, okay, this game's over. Let's get the hell out of here. Yep.
Closer to home, Joe, Bobby Witt, the pride of Kansas City, going on his having his first injured list stint of his career. 10 days.
I was getting ready to say, is it the mysterious back injury?
I have one of those right now myself.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, because obviously, and I even think, like I said, the All-Star game, I mean, he's one of the dudes. I mean, he's a dude. And too bad he's in Kansas City.
MLB correspondent at large Joe Sperlin, what do you have?
Well, we already talked about Boston being 15-0, seeing if they're going to trade all those guys or keep them now. The Miami Marlins have lost 8 in a row. There are 5 National League teams, 2.5 games of the wild card. So that makes 8 teams. So you wonder who's buyers, who's sellers. Where in the American League, there's only one team within 2.5 games. And then once again, Major League Baseball's got to be excited about a possible Tampa Bay Milwaukee World Series.
Seems like we said that last year, too. Yeah.
We say that, and the powers to be will somehow make that happen. And then my guy Tariq, number 1 on the trading list, and then number 4, the one that amazes me every time I see him pitch, is from the Padres, Mason Miller. He brings it too. Holy cow. And you said it last week, the Padres guy may just give him away.
Yeah. Preller has not made an insane trade, and his insane trade-o-meter may be running out, so it could be time.
And you sit there and wonder, like you said, who's going to panic and really. But yeah, I'm impressed with that dude. He brings it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's and again, our nightmare was that he goes to the Cubs. There's talk of that the Cubs just aren't going to do that much, aren't going to be that active, and there are people saying, why aren't we in on Skubal if we're like serious about this? And the Cubs, at least publicly, are saying, yeah, we're not even interested in him.
Okay, and it all comes down to this, and no one will probably talk about this. I make all these trades, and then there's no season next year.
Has to be in the back of everyone's mind.
That's why if you're Milwaukee, you trade for Skubal and you win the World Series this year.
Yeah. And it's also why people are saying that when it comes to extending Jordan Walker, the Cardinals might do the old, Doug, how many times have we seen this? The spring training extension, where it's, March 9th, and it's like the Cardinals have called a 3:00 press conference for tomorrow afternoon. And you're, okay.
Yeah, they are world famous for that. That is their MO for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No pun intended there. On that horrible note, Doug, let's go across the pond to the Open Championship. So we're watching golf, and all of a sudden I look up and Bryson DeChambeau is gesturing like a madman looking almost like Rodney Dangerfield over there in the in some very tall grass. There was a rule at question, so since you are our golf expert, what exactly was the alleged or actual infraction?
Okay, so when I first watched it, I was on Bryson's side, but I thought the ball was in a different place. So then I got to watching it, and when he first walked up there, yeah, he's in there stomping down behind the grass, not very far behind the ball. So, and he should not have been able to get in a cart and go back out there. Those dudes should have said, "Hey, we've seen this. You can tell your story all you want. We had 2 cameras freaking 5 feet from you. We've watched it. You're in there stomping around, you know. It's a 2-stroke penalty. So here you go."
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't think he should have been able to get on that cart and go back out there.
Yeah. And golf's version of Eli Drinkwitz, all of a sudden, Rory McIlroy had a comment about it where he said, regarding Bryson, I'm not particularly fond of him. I think a lot of it is performative. I think a lot of it is for attention. Gee, Joe, do you remember golfers talking smack on each other? It's been a while.
Oh, no. As I said, all those things that everybody may have already known, and finally Roy was brave enough to say it. And hey, as I was like, hey, it's going to get some viewers, especially if they get paired up together.
Rory's give a flip factor is 0 right now. He's won the career Grand Slam. He won the Masters again. He was the whipping boy forever.
Yeah.
And so he doesn't care. He's going to play when he wants, how he wants, and he doesn't care.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I don't even have to play all the time, and I'm still going to play in all these tournaments.
Right.
Whenever I want.
Funny you guys bring that up because he had yet another quote. This was the question. The question was, is it fair to say the PGA Tour and the FedEx Cup doesn't get your juices flowing as much as it used to, obviously, with the Grand Slam in the bag? And he continued, you made it clear you want to play more, explore more around the world. Is it fair to say you're not as fired up as you were? And McIlroy, it says, without skipping a beat, said, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So here's a little bit for you. So this new split tour that's coming along and everything, the last 2 of the last 3 guys that have won majors, if this was the new split tour, they would not have been playing on the main tour.
No.
Based on last year. So, but I'm telling you, the 3 guys that won the major championships, these last 3 were the 3 toughest dudes out on the course. Aaron Rye and Fox, and then Wyndham Clark winning on foreign soil in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, they were the 3 toughest dudes, and that's what I think is going to become of the majors is these guys that can scrap and tough are going to win because they don't go play in the damn signature events where there's no cut and there's 80 guys every week, and the guy that shoots 10 over and finishes last gets $5 million. So
you don't have to have the NetJet standing by on Friday. You know you're leaving on Sunday.
Yeah, you fly it on Sunday now. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the 3 toughest dudes won, and I think it's going to evolve more and more like that in that with the majors.
Doug, I love the fact that they gave that guy talking about how long it took him, like 20 seconds after the other guy. And he said, well, I stood there and was looking at the line the entire time. I didn't need to look at it anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we noticed
like
that. He just walked up and hammered it.
He went to his wife 4 years ago and said, I think I'm good enough to go play on the PGA Tour. And they packed up their kids and moved from New Zealand, and he qualified and, been playing ever since. So, like I said, the tough dudes are going to start winning more of the big tournaments, while the other guys, like you said, fly out on their NetJet Sunday night that were shooting 7 over and finish 70th.
Yeah, and pocketing, Jamie was amazed when she looked at how much all of the people that made the cut got at the British Open. It's not bad for a weekend of playing golf. In other news, Charlie Woods, if that last name sounds familiar, it's because his father's name is Eldrick, but he's better known as Tiger, is out of the U.S. Amateur Open. And Doug, whenever it comes to the children of like legends, there's like 2 ends, and I think these guys were actually teammates for a bit. I say, is he going to be Dale Berra or Barry Bonds? Because it's like the 2 ends of the, granted Dale did make the major leagues, which is an accomplishment, but So what do you think, or what have you heard about Charlie's prospects moving forward?
I don't think Charlie makes it on the PGA Tour.
Hmm.
I just don't think he makes it. So it won't be
Yeah.
because he won't try or have the opportunity, but I mean, I don't think he'll make it.
Hey, Michael Jordan's son was the sixth man for Illinois. You know, what about John Daly? What does he go by? Does John Jr.? What is he playing
John
under?
Daly Jr. He's pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's pretty good. So he made a run at the U.S. Amateur. Was that 2 years ago?
I think so.
So, yeah, and same kind of deal. You'll probably see him pop up here and there in an event, or he'll be on the Corn Ferry Tour and stuff. So I think he's a lot better guy than his dad, though.
His dad. There's when we go to our local Schnucks here, we walk in and there's a giant cutout of John Daly and his new cocktail that you can buy. So
Grip it
he
and
is
sip
still
it.
making. Yeah, that's it. He's still making a buck. With that, we've reached the halfway point of this episode of the St. Louis Sportist Podcast, and it's time to hear from the good folks at First Coast Steel Buildings. After the break, we'll bid farewell to the World Cup. City is making moves and winning matches, and SEC Media Days. Never boring. All this and more when we come back.
Are you in the market for a barn dominium, house, garage, man cave, carport, or hobby shop? Wondering how to get started or where to go? Whatever you are looking to design, look no further than First Coast Steel Buildings. Give Jason and his team a call at 912-314-4848. They will guide you through the process, designing your building to fit your specific needs and budget. Call them today at 912-314-4848 or get inspirational ideas and start designing your own by visiting them at firstcoaststeel.com. Again, that's the number 1, coaststeel.com. Their low-cost buildings are fully galvanized steel, providing you with worry-free, low-maintenance requirements, integrity, quality, and a family-first approach. First Coast Steel Buildings, 912-314-4848 or firstcoaststeel.com. Discounts for military and first responders.
And welcome back to the St. Louis Sportist Podcast. Joined by Joe Sperlin and Doug Lansdowne, my name is Ron Cook, and the World Cup came to an end. Joe, congratulations to Kurt Signetti and the Indiana Spaniards.
Just Google them.
Who just Google Spain. Yes, exactly. The World Cup, according to everything I have seen and read, they're calling it a roaring success. Very few empty seats. Did you guys tune into the final?
Doug, you were at the golf course, weren't you?
Yes, I was out there. I was out there melting. It was 105 degrees, and I played terrible. So you know what? When I got done golfing Sunday, I looked like that big blonde-headed guy from Norway when they subbed him out at the end of that game, and he went over there and laid in that chair. I thought, my God, that guy's a superhero, and he's not at the end of his game for his country. So,
Miami will get you.
I called him Thor. What was his name?
That would be Erling Haaland.
I looked like him Sunday when the golf tournament was over, when they'd subbed him out, and he's sitting back there in the shade. So, but I did not get to see the finals. I caught a little bit of third place game. But here's what you need to know about me and the World Cup, and this is how far I've come, and this is a big deal. No, listen. So Monday, I got a bunch of stuff done that morning, and didn't have much going on. And that afternoon, I thought, damn, I wish there was a soccer game on. I did. I thought I would want to watch a soccer game. I didn't have anything else to do. There wasn't anything on TV, and I thought, damn, I wish there was a soccer game on. So that's how far I came.
A couple things. What is their reasoning for having a third place game?
Oh,
money. It goes into the payout.
That's kind of what I figured. That was the only thing I could think of.
And it's another excuse to charge, it's another excuse to have a big football stadium and sell a lot of tickets and get people in. I
Yeah.
mean,
That's kinda what I figured. I'll tell you what, when it was close, I mean, I had the game on, wasn't really watching it, but as I got close to the end, like I said, Doug, I was hoping for a penalty kicks there at the end. And you just thought Messi and Notre Dame in Argentina was gonna pull it out, and thought the officials were gonna do it. But I have decided the red card is like targeting in college football.
100%.
It is strictly just whatever that one official thinks, and they kinda review it, and then you think, "Oh, well, that wasn't a foul at all," and then they come back and said,
Yep.
you're like, "What?"
I like it. I like it if they pull it out and then they go,
Yeah.
stick it
Yeah.
right in the guy's face. That's what I like.
Well, and it's also a motion that I've seen people doing is the VAR now too, which that was for those of you on YouTube. I just did the VAR.
Yep.
Which, believe it or not, a couple of years ago, the Premier League in England almost got rid of it. And there was like all this fan input that says it disrupts the flow of the match and you don't get it right like a lot of the time. So it is controversial. It is not without controversy. And people were saying, hey, you don't know when you see the ball go to the back of the net, you've got to wait to find out if it's a goal or not.
Yeah. And
And
the slow motion on all that stuff is like the same thing like college football. You can't do it in slow motion.
right.
Maybe the last second or 2 to see if it's inbounds and all that, but on the contact, you can't do it in slow motion.
No. The national and international media, there's an excellent podcast. Wall Street Journal did a really good review of it and brought in a couple of international experts. And they said this was by far and away the most Americanized World Cup with the with hydration breaks and halftime shows. And they're kind of saying, well, gee, if it goes forward, that you'll have those, which I can't imagine you won't now. There you go. They'll say this is when the American influence came into international soccer. And they also said that the giant stadiums, the best analogy I heard, Doug, was they said that all of the games were basically played in a venue that would be suitable for a final if you were in other parts of the country. And they said that it would be like if you had Wimbledon, but you had every match on a center court.
Ooh,
as opposed
yeah.
to some of those regular courts they have where they're playing next to each other, kind of like at the city park. So,
Well,
Yeah.
it'll be interesting on who tries to get in on it next time, and we know there's gonna be a next time coming up as you're gonna get to, because there was places like Denver who said, "No, we're not hosting because of the outrageous demands by the World Cup the FIFA,
FIFA.
that
right, right.
mob run organization." So
Yeah, absolutely. So Fox had 29 million viewers. Fox had 51 million for Fox, 29 for Telemundo. So there you go. That's a lot of folks across the U.S. consuming the World Cup final on the same audience category. They said as your NFL championship games. So not quite the Super Bowl, but if you think the championship games, that's roughly the number of people that were watching. And they do think that they are going to go to 64 teams next year because they said, just like you, Doug, people are still wanting soccer.
and the United States, they said, is probably about the only place that could host that many games.
Oh.
Yeah. Unless they split, unless they just call it Europe, and then you're hopscotching all around Western Europe, which could happen. So, Joe Sperlin, one of our favorite events on the calendar, the SEC Media Week, and who led off but our very own Eli Drinkwitz. Breaking some news that Ahmad Hardy, 5 to 8 weeks. Could be beginning a program where he could either be ready, A, for week 1, B, for SEC play, or C, other. What did you take from that?
He's not going to say. I mean, they have a pretty good idea, and he's not going to say. He's just going to let him know that, hey, he's going to be back. And I think just keeping it tight to the vest, but letting everybody know that he will be back. So don't worry.
Yeah.
Third game of the season.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. And then, you've got to see, we've talked about this before. When someone comes back from an injury, as sports fans, we kind of assume he's going to be the same Ahmad Hardy that he was last year. He may not. He may be a little slower or have a little less explosion, but we'll see. Who knows? Could be like a Tommy John or a Montefiusco, Joe. He might be better.
Right.
Doug Drink was talking about how fans don't understand what it's like to play in big stadiums like in the SEC, and very promptly people from the Big Ten ask if he'd heard of the Big House, Penn State, or the Horseshoe. You think that was one he'd like over again?
You know what? Most people would want that over again, but I don't think he does, because I think whatever he thinks he says is funny and it's the right thing. And yeah, most people want to do over, but I don't think he did.
I did not watch everyone, but there was some of those coaches. I'll guarantee you, the AD, Ron, the PR department, everybody said, they sit in a large room and said, here's the speech you're going to give as your opening remarks. Do not deviate from that. Do not add anything. Do not insert joke here. No, this is exactly what you read, and this is exactly what you say. Except for Drink, Kiffin, and Sark. And it's amazing. Drink was the opener, but you got Kiffin and Sark as the closers. And in between them, they're going to put the old boy from Arkansas and the old boy from Mississippi State in between them.
Yeah.
How about the guy from Kentucky?
Yeah.
Confident young man.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna win because I'm coaching.
Yeah.
We're going to win because of me.
Old Miss guy today was very confident.
Yeah.
He said, hey, I didn't know Lane Kiffin until I come here. I'm not a Lane Kiffin guy,
Well, and Coach Summerall at Florida became a little upset after a cell phone rang. What was the line, Joe? If you were on my team, something.
Yeah, you would be kicked out of the meeting. I feel like I want to throw this podium at you right now. That's just not going to. Hey, I also read a deal that he said he decided they need to get a lot stronger when he could deadlift more than half the linemen. He said that later on today, too.
Oh, my.
So, hey, it's not Spurrier and some of these guys. I mean, it's you don't want to put stuff out there now. It's social media is so bad. It's like the old boy said to Kirby, hey, what do you think about now you don't have to play Tennessee? And he's like, you said that, I didn't. You like not playing Tennessee. I mean, they're not going to put anything. The billboard materials, the locker room materials is not up there. Spurrier didn't care, and those other guys, I mean, it was great. These guys,
yeah.
I give Drink credit for that. At least he tries to be funny and get some attention to Mizzou. I'll be interested on how much Kiffin goes off script tomorrow on Sark.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, let's go back to Drink. He took a couple of shots at our friends on the western border here. When asked the best thing that came out of Kansas, he said I-70. And when he asked about attractive ladies in Kansas, he said they must be visitors. Going back to what Tom and I said last week, you wonder if he tried those out on his kids and they passed the test.
Yeah.
I think he got those from Norm Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Norm just handed him some index cards and said, "Here, kid,
Here,
use these someday."
Yeah.
Also, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey reiterated on Monday the talk of the conference breaking away is real and not a leverage play. Joe, we've watched the movie Wall Street probably 50 times between the two of us. If you have to tell someone a threat is real, does that make it less real?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think at least he admitted to it, and it's still going to continue. The talk of expansion and the money, like I said, the TV contracts are coming up here in a couple years. It's real. It's real.
Yeah, I think it is too. Doug, old friend Bo Prabula was named quarterback 1 for Virginia. They're in for an interesting season, aren't they?
Yeah. You sent that out, and I'm like, what? So yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't think I've got any words on that.
He's becoming a little bit like the point guard whose name is escaping me right now, but he played at LSU, Mizzou, Pinson. That played at LSU. I think he played at 4 schools in 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he played okay for Mizzou. I'm really surprised, and not that Virginia's anything great, but I'm surprised he's got a starting job at a Power 5.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I can't wait till week 0 when it starts and someone will publish a list of the quarterback depth charts and have the starters, and you'll go, "Oh, that guy's there?" I mean, they posted one today, whether Ladaway from Florida. I forgot he's at Baylor,
Baylor.
and I'm just like, "Oh, okay." So you got Alabama, who's got 2 guys that have been stuck with them. You know, that's what they like bragging about, that they're not going in the portal for quarterbacks, so.
Yeah.
Just centers. Just centers.
Yeah. Well-educated centers.
Yeah.
Every time I think of the former Florida quarterback, Joe, I just think of the night he couldn't stop throwing it to LSU.
Yeah.
Mr. Langway. I believe that was like 6 interceptions or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Your St. Louis City, believe it or not, is 4-0-1 in their last 5 games. They are 1 point out of the playoffs with a lot of season left to go. As we are recording this on Wednesday night, in about 2.5 hours, they will kick off at Dignity Health Sports Park. Can't make that up. In Los Angeles to play the Galaxy, 9:30 p.m. on Apple TV. No Klaus, he's hurt. This is where Klaus went. And they made a big signing. They signed a Danish attacker named Carlo Hulse, Holse. Or is it Hulse? I don't know. But he was from the Turkish league. $6 million transfer fee, most ever spent by St. Louis City for a player. So they're spending money and winning games. And we'll see if there's interest down at Energizer Park around your St. Louis City SC. For all of the discouraging words we had early in the season, they've come alive.
Now, is this their first game back from the break, correct?
No, their first game back was against Kansas, and they won. They took down the arch rival. You know, some would call them Sporting Kansas City, but we all really know they're just Kansas because they play in Kansas. And yeah, that was a big win at Energizer Park. Stockpiling those points and getting toward the playoffs. So we shall see if this upward trend continues for your St. Louis City. And with that, we've reached the last call, brought to you by Black Dog Consulting. With over 38 years in the transportation industry, Dave knows where to look to find those pennies per mile that make the difference between just getting by and profit and growth. From one-truck operations to small fleet owners, he has a proven multi-million-dollar track record to help you retrieve bigger profits. Call Dave at 417-217-9622 or David at blackdogconsultingllc.net. You can check out the website, blackdogconsulting.net. And a quick aside, congratulations to our buddy Dave, and it's the 3 Ava guys tonight, so I have no problem taking this aside. Congratulations to all of our friends in Ava who pulled off a big number reunion of our high school graduating class over the past weekend. Doug represented the team. A good time was had by all, yes?
Yeah, and Dave and the group did a great job, and I do have to say that 3 or 4 or 5 of our classmates said, "Hey, I hadn't seen you for a while, but I see you on that podcast."
Hey,
so, there you
tell
go.
them to like, subscribe.
I forgot that. I forgot that. Ron doesn't write that down for me, so I couldn't get that out quick enough. So yeah.
All right, I need to do a better job with that. Yeah, checks in the mail. Keep it fair.
Yeah.
Joe Sperlin, what do you have for a last call?
Well, since Tom's not here, I'm going to make mine a double. Thank goodness for the Green Bay Packers, who has to publicly publish NFL revenue reports
Ooh.
as the only publicly owned team in the NFL.
Mhm.
The NFL per team made $450 million last year per team before local revenue. And as
Oh,
I've always said before, you have a $300 million salary cap, and you have already made $450 million before you ever play a game and make any other outside money. Thank you, TV contracts. Which, by the way, that is more than the combined NBA, Major League Baseball, and NHL revenue combined.
Yeah, and Joe, when you talk salary cap, I always go back to, I think it was about 20 years ago when the league told the Cincinnati Bengals, you guys need to spend some money. You're so far below the cap. You need to spend some money.
Yeah.
and Paul Brown didn't.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
Yep.
He hung up the phone without saying goodbye. Slam.
Yeah. And speaking of one of those revenue teams, the Chiefs of Kansas released their $3 billion fully enclosed dome, their plans, I guess. By the way, for a location to be determined still, 70,000 seats. Like I said, fully enclosed to be ready to go in 2031, where they have no idea. I mean, they do have an idea, but they don't have a location yet. But one of my favorite ones I read in this was, by the way, that team that made all that money, they're going to come up, the Hunts are going to come up with $1 billion of it. But oh, wait, they also, the state of Kansas approved 70% to be taken by STAR funds. You know how we have all those, I did not catch this, but STAR funds are from sales tax and revenue from the state. They just find, come up with, increase. But I love it, the STAR. So there you go. By the way, they're wanting to host Super Bowls, Final Fours, bowl games, and everything they can do under their enclosed roof. In a place to be determined. They might want to find some place if it's going to be ready by 2031.
I'm telling you, Jera and Stan are not happy that this Super Bowl rotation is getting larger and larger. With dome stadiums in Denver and Cleveland and Kansas City and Minnesota, it's like there's going to be
Buffalo.
Yeah, more and more years between the Super Bowl coming to Dallas and Los Angeles, which is a terrible shame.
Yes.
That roof is translucent. Yeah, that'll be interesting.
And this is when we all close our eyes and see that video from inside the Hubert Humphrey Dome when the snow collapsed it, remember?
Translucent, Doug, what does that do? Does that keep bugs away? Mosquitoes
I think
in the
so.
summer?
Yeah. At night it turns blue and and gets bugs away. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that's for. You'll need that in Kansas.
Yeah, I love the fact that on those roofs, like, remember the game in LA when they had the lightning delay? Yeah, and it's like, yes, we know we're in a dome, but we're still having a lightning delay. You know they'll have that in Kansas City.
Oh, yeah.
Doug, what do you have?
I'm going to go back to SEC media days, and I know breaking away is a possibility and everything like that, but Greg Sankey, he was like the kid, I'm going to take my ball and leave the playground. Whenever he said we could do this, how about instead of being part of the problem, be part of the solution? So I would like to see some of these commissioners step up and have a better idea of trying to make it come together more instead of saying, we're going here, we're going there, we're going here, we're going there. And Sankey, I mean, that guy could do it if he wanted to. So I wish he would have said something along the lines of, we need to get more aligned and this and that, instead of saying, no, it's a real thing. We may be leaving.
Joe, how often do you think those SEC athletic directors get Sankey off to the corner and tell him, here's what you need to do?
Every time they see him, probably. Every time they can get him by himself. But Sankey's probably got those handlers that said, we'll get a meeting set up with you here soon this afternoon. We got a conference. We got this TV. Yeah, it's the deal. No, you can't. It's like a presidential candidate. Yeah, we'll get back
Right.
with you. We'll speak with your group.
Right. It's and it's never here's an idea for you. It's here's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Especially if that comes from the governor of Louisiana.
Yeah.
The last time I mentioned Louisiana, well, never mind.
Yeah.
So for mine comes with a quiz at the end. Today, The Athletic took a shot and they looked at all of the D1 teams and they said one simple question. They started out with, are you a football school or a basketball school? But then they went ahead and they just kind of looked at, like, believe it or not, Oklahoma State. They said, that's a wrestling school. They have more wrestling championships than everyone. Go figure. So it came down to the University of Missouri-Columbia, our friends, a little bit down the road here. And it said, are you a football or a basketball school? And they determined that they are. What do you guys think?
I would say basketball.
Doug?
Was that the only two choices?
No, it could be any sport.
Oh.
Gymnastics, archery, field hockey.
Basketball.
Basketball is correct. Now, but then The Athletic, being The Athletic, owned by the New York Times, went on to give Jamie and I call this damning with faint praise, or my parents used to call it a left-handed compliment. They then went on to say they are a basketball school. However, they have never been to a Final Four. They have been to 31 tournaments without a Final Four. Only one school has more NCAA tournament appearances without going to a Final Four. Doug Lansdowne and Joe Sperlin. Which is the only team that has gone to more tournaments than the University of Missouri, and they're a Division I team, without going to the Final Four? I will tell you that they are currently a Big 12 team.
Big 12?
Big 12.
It's got to be one of the newer Big 12 teams.
Got to be Utah.
Oh, Douglas, You're so close. So close.
BYU.
BYU is correct.
Utah State.
BYU has been to 32 NCAA tournaments without a Final Four. Missouri, 31. So there's your left-handed compliment of the night, courtesy the New York Times and The Athletic.
But if you ask me who would have a better basketball history, I would say Mizzou over BYU.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but I think, Doug, and you're more of an expert on college hoops than me, there were all of those years that BYU was in Mountain West, SWAC, or not SWAC, what were they? Western
SWAC.
Athletic. Not the SWAC, no.
Very never
different.
in the SWAC.
No. Western Athletic. I just added an S.
Yes.
I just spat beverage for those of you not watching on YouTube.
There's a good title. Were they in the SWAC?
BYU was not in the SWAC.
BYU is not in the SWAC. The WAC, but not the SWAC.
The WAC, but not the SWAC. Yeah.
We were talking about Mizzou, so it was easy to get SWAC in there.
Well, considering they played the entire SWAC schedule in non-conference last year. All right. So before we get in even more trouble, that's going to do it for this episode of St. Louis Sportist Podcast. Joe Sperlin, thank you, sir.
Enjoyed it, guys. I always enjoy getting together with you guys.
And Doug Lansdowne.
Yep. Glad to be back. Everybody have a good week.
And Doug has a cat, again, for those of you not watching on YouTube. Which cat is that, Doug?
This is James. Hello, James.
James is a very stately dude. And we will catch you next week on the St. Louis Sportist podcast. Until then, take care.
And that wraps another episode of the St. Louis Sportist podcast. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest episodes. You can find these guys on all major podcast platforms. And thanks for listening.